And welcome into another episode of Virtual Courtside with Dirk and Harris. I'm Harris, alongside me is
I'm
my
Dirk.
absolute co-host Dirk. You just said that like one of the Vikings from How to Train Your Dragon. That was
That's
funny.
me and Autumn last year. We're gonna intro episode of the post up like that. They wanted us to go, I'm Autumn, and then me jump in like Disney Channel, like I'm Dirk, and you're watching the post up.
That would have been a better intro. I personally think so. But anyway, it is hoodie day today, as we are both exhausted from what was a very long, very arduous, and very fun week of NBA 2K League 3v3 basketball.
What does arduous mean?
You know what arduous means?
No.
Arduous has nothing to do with being Jewish.
No, I
Involving
know,
or
but like,
requiring strenuous effort, difficult or tiring.
damn, your vocab bag
Arduous.
is fucking deep.
Thank you.
You got
sir.
that Mary Poppins fucking vocab bag.
Wait, does Mary Poppins have a deep bag of vocabulary?
She has a bag that's like you can. She reaches out and grabs everything out of it. That's like really large. She has one of like the endless bags.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate your you extrapolating over how great my vocabulary is.
Fuck off with the big words, man. You're just showing off, dick.
Anyway, we had the Slam Finals. Congrats to Lakers Gaming. Shifty Kai is your MVP. We're going to talk about the last day, and then we'll get into the Switch Open preview probably pretty quickly because it's just easier to talk about these teams through the lens of what's coming up than what happened. But let's talk about that last day because the last day was lit as fuck. Magic Lakers played each other 3 times. All 3 series were really good. You had Genji taking on the Pistons, one of our best series of the year. Also, Gallo goes absolutely mental to close out games 4 and 5. Jolo with an amazing game 5 as well, kind of like a real launching moment for him this season. The Magic swept Genji after falling to the Lakers. I can't blame the Tigers for that, just coming off that emotional series to the Pistons. And then, of course, it was Lakers Magic in the finals bracket reset, and the Lakers came out on top. Dirk, I think the best way to really contextualize that last day is to say that Magic Gaming and Lakers Gaming played 12 times. They played 12 3v3 games. The final score of their 12 games, they played a best of 12. It was 7-5 LA. It was incredibly close. It could have gone either way. We could have been 6-6 at one point, but yeah, we ended 7-5. Great run for LA.
Yeah. I got my prediction right
You
in
did.
terms of at least who was winning.
Mazel
I
tov.
missed out on the Pistons one, but as long as you predict the victor, that's a major W.
Agreed.
I'm just happy to see a team that dominated group play dominate kind of the rest of the way.
Yeah.
While there were some weaknesses, especially when they played Magic Gaming in that first series in the grand finals, other than that, like they were tested. I mean, that was like my one thing that was differentiating the Nets and the Lakers was the Nets were sweeping. They were handling business for a large part of the tournament. The Lakers are always game 4s. They were always in game 5s. So like, okay, I'll give the Nets the upper hand. But it's just the closeout and the composure in those situations. Shifty Kai is still the best player in the entire world. Yo VC having this, I would honestly call it like a crazy come up, like going back to the lockdown position because we've seen him be one of the better centers that we had in the league for a while. I'm happy that despite all the stuff that was happening with Crazy, like missing all those jump shots, like you could tell visibly that he was kind of in his own head, especially on the offensive side. He made up for it big time going down the stretch in some of those final games of the Magic of just a rebounding. He really showed the impact that you can have to where maybe you're not having the greatest offensive performance to where you can still help out the team. So I was really happy about that. Also very happy to see a team that started off 0-2 have this crazy miraculous comeback.
Dude,
one of the
team
teams
is
that we thought was
insane.
going to be a top 2 team in 3 versus 3. So my thing is that, moving forward, we have the top 2 kind of solidified. I don't think there's any argument like with that Nets drop off. You're just kind of like, you're still probably top 3, top 5 team guaranteed. But right now, Lakers and Magic, clear cut 1 and 2, Lakers 1, Magic number 2 from that point on. People just kind of battling for that 3rd place. I think that's pretty hard to call at that point. But I'm happy that we have a top 2 kind of going in because we had Pistons Magic right before the season even started. Now it's flipped. The Magic are still there. They're still at number 2 too, which is hilarious.
I just want to say, coming into the season, when you and I did our offseason predictions, my top 3 teams, literally my top 3 teams were Magic, Pistons, Lakers. I was in on that Lakers team so quickly just because, I mean, you just look at the talent. I will say I'll say two things actually. One thing on the Lakers, and I put this in my article. First of all, with Crazy, he did everything else except shoot. And we were definitely giving him a hard time on the broadcast for like how poorly he was shooting, but it should also not be ignored. He was doing everything else at a world-class level. He was defending one-on-one, he was forcing turnovers, he was getting huge rebounds, offensive and defensive, to start runs and stop them. He was doing everything you could ask a big man do except actually hitting big time threes, which was really frustrating. And then that after the bracket reset, Dirk, I mean, he just completely went off. I actually think that YoVC and Crazy played better than Kai did in that 3-0 right after the bracket reset. I thought the both of them just woke up and they're like, all right, you know what? It's time to clean up. Let's get out of here. I will say on the Magic side of things that I hope people, first of all, now see what we were talking about with how good this Magic gaming team could be, but I hope they also see what it actually took to beat this team. It took Shifty Kai, the best player in the world, going up another level in order to beat this team. It took YoVC and Crazy playing arguably the best 2K League basketball they have ever played just to beat this team after a bracket reset. Like, that's how good this Magic gaming team is. Honestly, Dirk, look, Lakers Gaming won the slam. Congrats to them. Congrats to Kai. Coming out of this tournament, the Magic are still, I think, my number one favorites to win the title, because it takes so much to actually beat them and to actually get a win against them over the line, that until it's proven to me that teams can do it consistently, and the Lakers did, and again, I think it might be Magic Lakers in the 2K League Finals, or at least Magic Lakers at some point in the Final Four heading to the finals. I just don't know if there's another team in the league besides the Lakers who can keep up with the Magic. And if the Magic can kind of stay away from LA until the very ends of these tournaments, there's no reason why they shouldn't make the Switch Open Finals. There's no reason why they shouldn't make the 3v3 Finals, because that trio of Unguardable, Jay Bull, and Godlike is as good as I think we've ever had in the league. Like just from like a watching, holy shit, this team has so much talent perspective, it was really fun to watch. But again, I can't speak enough about how good Kai was this entire tournament. Like, we've been talking about, like, oh, when's he going to take over? You know, why hasn't he won anything? Blah, blah, blah. And he just completely went up another level. And honestly, Dirk, I don't think it's been a long time since we've had this big of a gap coming out of our first tournament of the year between the best player in the league and the second best player in the league. I don't even know who the second best player in the league is right now, but I know who the first best is.
Yeah, I was just happy to see him get the job done
Yeah.
finally. I mean, I got a little worried when they did end up losing that first series, and Kai had that really bad shooting performance, and it was forcing a lot of twos. I'm like, man, okay. So that's one thing. It's either like a connection thing, they're not on the server that they want, something's going on here.
Felt to me like
But
they were sitting around for a while, and the Magic were just coming off of a series that they played like
yeah,
5 minutes ago, so they just had their jump shots down.
Yeah, so it's just it was nice to see, especially after all the stuff that Kai like went through last year with like him and that T Wolves team always making it to the finals and then dropping off and losing. But it is crazy that we're living in a time where Kai has been like the best player to start off the year, or like, and even like for the rest of the year, like the best dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, early favorite for the 3v3 MVP, which by the way was announced that we get a 3 versus 3
Yeah, we
MVP
should talk
for
about
the
that.
first time ever, which would be really good because I was sick of hearing, oh, yeah, well, I'm not factoring threes to mine. I'm just going to go off of what fives is. Like, cool. Well, now we can just lay that to rest. I don't think there's a reason to add any other award in. That's why there's probably just the MVP. I'm sure they'll probably
Yeah.
do like a 3v3 first team or something. I don't know. But just at least good to have that.
I think one of the major things that does need to be considered is that I think Kai has entered the season. I think this year, I think you could argue Johnny Red came into this year as like the number one player in the world just after the offseason he had and the great playoffs. But I think the thing with Kai that is so crazy is that he kind of sets the standard every year for what it is to be the best player in the league. And then we've kind of given the MVP to the guy who has like ever so slightly passed him in that ranking. Like last year, Kai was the best player in the league for most of the year, and then Ant kind of tracked him down over the course of the season. And it was the same thing in season 5. You could make an argument it was the same thing in season 4 too. Obviously, Dave Wright had an insane season 5, but still, Kai was probably the best player in the league at that time. It was just, with the Wiz, with no JVM, the narrative was easy to lock down. So I'll say this, Dirk. This is the best that Kai has ever looked to start a season, especially in 3v3. He's setting the fogging a standard. All right. He's setting the standard way up here. Like, it is going to take so much for another player in the league, I think, to catch up to his level. I will say, though, there's a guy who's going to do it. It might be unguardable. He seems to have taken a leap to where he's kind of as good as Kai was last year. So now Unguardable needs to take another in-season leap to get to where Kai is now. But Unguardable's probably the closest. Him and Ant, I think, are probably the 2 and 3 in the league. Green's probably up there too. I think that's probably your top 4.
Gallo in the mix now too.
Gallo, sure, he's looked fantastic.
I think, because like even when you're looking at Kai's numbers, like while was like points per game is good, like there's obviously people that are ahead of him. The one thing that people have to do to catch up to him to really make it a serious conversation is just going to be improving their shooting percentages. That's the one thing with Kai that stands out most. What it was like 70 something from the field.
He's
like
evil. He will force a turnover. He will make you wait 20 seconds, and then he will take a dagger 3 into your heart. Like he played this whole tournament so patient and so smartly. And also there isn't a guard, I think, in this league. Maybe Johnny comes a little bit close to him. There's no guard in this league who comes close to him defensively. JT and I got into a little back and forth on the broadcast where I'm like, Kai is basically a second lock out of there. And JT's like, no, it's not. He's a guard. I stand on that. Kai is as good as most locks in the league defensively.
If you put him on a lockdown build, he'd be the best.
He'd be the best player in the league. So yeah. Any final thoughts on the Slam Finals before we move on to Three's MVP? We could chat about it a little bit.
No, I really liked it. With honestly how everything played out, how intense it was. I think that this Slam Open, despite it being remote, probably the best Slam that we've had since 3 started. There's something about these late game scenarios that people can't close out. I don't know if there's like when it hits 19, there's a slider that activates where it's like, no, shooting some for everybody, make the game closer, then you can win. But it's fun having the crazy intense games. I know for people out there on Twitter, it doesn't look very good when you got like everyone like, oh man, these are professionals and they're missing wide open shots. I can hit those wide open shots. And then like trying to portray that to them, like I can't even fucking explain anymore. It's been a 7-year process and I don't know how to purposely like put it into words. It's one of those things you just have to play and feel, which no one get those opportunities unless they go to an in-person 2K League event, which even then, I'm not sure if they do.
Yeah. It is interesting to see how many people are just missing open shots with badge too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's the skill gap this year. I'm not sure if it's a server thing, but like it's kind of jarring, honestly, to watch like the amount of open missed threes we've had. And like, that's not to say that like 3-point percentage across the league is down. I mean, power forwards are definitely struggling from 3 a little bit this year. Locks and guards are mostly fine. But yeah, I'm not really sure what goes into all these shooting problems, because it feels like every team at some point during this tournament went through like a 3 to 4 game stretch where their square button just didn't work, and then you had teams like Cav Legion who might as well just what is greening really. If anything, it's a figment of our imagination, or it's a figment of Cav Legion's imagination. They shot like 35% from 3 as a team, which in 2K is just, I mean, it's punishable.
See,
that's a punishable offense. That's a
my
felony.
theory that I could have that kind of weighs into the shooting struggles. There's so much movement in 3s now to where it's not like 5s, right? Where if I'm playing the right corner, I'm just going to be shooting out of the right corner, like probably the entirety of the game. If not, I'm going to get a shot from the top of the arc, depending on what plays ran. I think with how much movement goes into 3s, that one in 2K right now in 2K24, I think in the retail version it's fine. I don't know if they remove speed ups or not because I haven't played since eFIBA, but I know speed ups are in the league build. You can't go off of your mental, like remembering your jump shot timing. It's all visual now. Like you have to look at your character.
Yeah.
So for me, right, when I was right-handed, I'm trying to remember. I played right corner when I was right-handed with the jump shot and base and uppers that I would use. I could see the ball perfectly when I was like, oh, I know when it gets to this part of the back of his head, this is when I release.
Yeah.
That's how I knew. So then when I would switch and go to the left corner and I couldn't see the head, I just saw the ball. I'm like, oh, fuck. I would always struggle shooting in the left. I would struggle shooting from an angle from the top of the right hash or left
Mhm.
hash. Top of the arc was fine because you could see matched up with the head because that's what I went off of. I think that the issue is some shooting that if guys aren't just like playing the right corner their entire career and all of a sudden, fuck, now I got to flare and pop out to the left. I got to pop, Harris. I never popped a day in my life. I sit in the fucking corner offensively. Now I have to pop and get
Mhm.
my shooting down where maybe if I get a bad catch and I already started like holding square, I think that factors into it a little bit. I would
Yeah.
be shocked if that isn't something that does factor. It's so hard to get consistent repetitions in from every single part of the floor when you do have to factor that, oh shit, it's wide open. I know my release. Oh fuck, is it going to be open? Is it going to be 6-5%? Is it going to be like yellow contest, red contest? There's some inconsistencies with it, but I think that's what factors in.
I mean, you want to talk about we talk about the fogging of standards. I mean, from a big man perspective, like watching Godlike and Connor take and make open threes from basically everywhere at the 3-point line, corners, wings, top of the key.
And
Like it's
do you
crazy how
Do you
how
wanna
where
know
they can
why?
hit threes
Do you wanna know why they're the best at it?
because they're
Because
demons.
they don't they don't go into the league to just go fucking well, sorry, they don't go in retail just to sit in a fucking corner the entire time. Look at the offenses that they're with, right, and the builds that they're on. Loki Godlike was on a popper, I think, for
All
at least a
year.
little bit when he started off with Team Liquid. Yeah, no, even at UPA. So, he is used to shooting. He is used to moving. He plays a lot of stage, all this stuff. Look at Connor. While he played small forward, power forward, jumping around with tunnel vision, he would set screens more than fucking any. He'd set screens more than me when I play with him at the center position. He's actively always involved. So that's something you just have to look at. Like those two guys that are the best at their craft right now at their respective positions, they shoot from everywhere. Off season, in season, no matter what, they are hyper actively involved.
And those I think we also saw throughout this tournament that when power forwards started to doing it, even like a small, like even Jolo, right? Jolo had basically what, 2 games all tournament when he was like really shooting like them. You saw the difference that it made when those power forwards are able to come out of the corner, hit shots on the wing, hit shots on the top of the key. It changes the entire dynamic of a series. And honestly, that's one of the things that makes me excited about Gen G, and we'll get to them when we go through the Switch Open groups, is that like they just discovered that Jolo, maybe they knew that Jolo was that good, but they just discovered that Jolo can hit those shots in the biggest moments. And that's what's most important about a tournament like this. There are so few of those guys, Dirk, who I'm comfortable hitting those shots. And even more so, it is very clear which teams drafted and are now are now looking at their power forward and going, oh shit, my power forward can't do that. I have to switch to an inside. Or, oh, my power forward can't do that. I have to switch to somebody else. Like it's very clear. Look at the power forwards who started the season and look at the teams who have moved power forwards. And there's a very clear reason why they did that. And it's because those guys, like you said, they can't get out of the corner. They're not offering much offensively. They can do a little bit of screens, but if those screens aren't hitting, it's not great. I mean, I look. I saw locks and point guards setting screens like crazy on Friday and Saturday, and those were the teams that made it the furthest. The teams that went out on Wednesday and Thursday, they're not doing the little things, man. They're not doing the little scrappy things that it takes to win 3v3 in the league right now. So it was crazy. I mean, I saw Unguardable setting screens, bro. I saw Unguardable set a screen for an open J Bull in 3 in the corner. I've never seen Unguardable set a screen before in my
Yeah.
life. That was crazy. Like it just shows you what it takes.
I mean, I'm just wondering too, right? Because with that point of the shooting, I mean, how many more teams going into the switch will try an inside at some point?
Oh,
Because I mean, we saw the Jazz switch.
the
They
inside
went
is
to Rhea on
not
the inside.
good. It's not good.
It's
The-
good enough to win you games. Maybe like here and there. It is not going to be good enough this year. Like I mean, I didn't think it was going to be good enough in season one, but now seeing how threes plays and how it's developed, it is not going to be good enough to win you a tournament. It's definitely not going to be good enough to win you a championship.
I think the inside is bad, and I commend the players who are playing on it and making it look so good. That is what
Yeah.
I'll say. Shout out to who is it? It's DT, Dietrich, and Low. Are those our three? Or any others?
Dietrich,
And then Rhea
DT,
tried
Dietrich,
for a series,
Low.
and he was wildly uncomfortable because I don't think Justin knows how to use the inside like that yet.
Yeah, Rhea went on there. Quickly just looking through the Hawks. Yeah, we already
with
said
Low.
that. Yeah, and I think that's them.
Yeah, credit to
Kai.
those three for making it look somewhat viable, because there are times where even those three, with all the amazing defensive and stick talent they have, that thing is slow as shit. It is so slow. If it gets caught in the middle of the court on a turnover, it can't do anything. It can't get back. It can't do chase down blocks. Like it's basically a statue. I don't like the inside. I personally think the only team that it works for is the Heat, and I think the only reason that works is because they have Dietrich. I think the Hawks, it worked for them for the time being because it allowed MDS to just shoot as many shots as he humanly wanted to, and it worked because Glow just stood down the press triangle, kicked it back out to him, and it was the same thing. The Sixers do a little bit more pick and roll, get the ball to DT so he can mash, but I just don't know if that's a way long-term to win games. It's a little too heavy. They still need Dre to like up the amount of threes that he's taking and making. Though I will say he did look a little bit better over the past week. For me, I don't know what the Hawks do because I don't think Bait is good enough for them to not be on the inside, but I don't think the inside is good enough for them to really like consistently win. We'll see. It did pretty well for them last week. And then that Sixers team, they still can't figure out what their best lineup is. So we'll see what Philly breaks out during the switch. But again, another special shout out to Dietrich, bro, because there's no reason he should look that good on that build.
True.
He's insane. Shout out to Dietrich. Okay. That it on the slam? Over to the switch?
Yep.
Oh, one thing. The 3v3 MVP. I think we can both probably agree that right now the leader is Kai. Any dark horse candidates for 3's MVP you want to put out there? We're kind of the narrative builders over here at this point.
I feel like if the Pistons are able to turn around and think Connor.
Okay.
I still think for the Magic it'll be unguardable if they end up getting it.
We have to put Godlike in the MVP conversation though. He is so good.
With Gen G's improvements, because I feel like I would be shocked to see teams who would like look that good in the slam drop off in the switch with how close everything is together.
Yeah,
so I'm going to put Gallo in there as well. With Gen G. But yeah, those are just a couple. I mean, if you want to go like real dark horse, I don't even know where to really go from there because I feel like that the top's kind of solidified, and I just don't see anyone truly getting knocked off in that type of fashion. Because you have to think like jumping into the MVP conversation is going to be tough because if Kai just won this, Kai doesn't have to win this next one to probably still be in the top MVP conversation. If he just makes a run, maybe he gets like Final Four. Now, if you look at like top 8 and starts to drop off from there and somebody wins, you're like, okay, well, let's look at their first slam performance. How was it? It's going to take a lot to knock off Kai right now. So I feel like a lot of the people you throw into this conversation are all going to be classified as like a dark horse.
Because it's also like it's like you said, it's late in the process. I mean, we got one more tournament left. Are you going to include the playoffs in your 3v3 MVP voting?
Yeah,
you will. Okay,
I include playoffs for everything because the voting stays open till then. So like you expect me to just go off the regular season and not include the most important part of the year.
The biggest secret that I always had when it came to all my awards voting is that I always included the playoffs. I thought it was always so silly that we had this stigma against including the most important games of the year for the most important awards. Like the money's on the table. I don't really care what they do when the money isn't on the table. When the money's on the table. And the good news is that the finals MVP hasn't been the actual MVP every single year. It's always been different players. So happy that those awards have stayed separate. Okay. It is time to preview the Switch Open. We have 5 groups again. They are split sort of in a server thought fashion. So you have a lot of teams on the East playing on East, you have a lot of teams on Central playing Central, a lot of teams on West playing West. So I start with Group 1. Dukes and Vanitos, Heat Check Gaming, Hornets Venom GT, Magic Gaming, and Pistons GT. Very fun group. God bless Dukes and Vanitos. They are in a really, really difficult group to try to get out of their slam hole. But this group, I want to call it the group of death because I think there are other great groups. I think this group will give us our best series, though. Like, getting to see Heat Check Pistons again will be really fun. Getting to see Magic Heat again will be really fun. Getting to see Hornets Pistons should be really fun. There's just great matchups all over this group.
Only team I'm looking out for in this group is the Hornets because they were looking so good. And then it came time for bracket play, and they looked awful again. So I want to see what their bounce back is going to be like. I think you need a big group stage just for the mental. Good part again about this tournament for anybody that's watching. Everybody makes bracket play.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if you lose all 4 games that you're playing, and you're still going to end up making it. But all about the mental, all about being able to bounce back, because them and the Jazz, I would say, are probably the 2 biggest declines of teams that looked really good and it just looked really bad, like just out of nowhere. That 3-0 sweep to the Magic was the one turning point on the decline. for the Hornets. So I think we're gonna get what we expect from this group. Like the Pistons, Magic, Heat, all gonna play each other very close. Like when
Yep.
they square off. The question is like, are the Hornets going to do that? Which I think, I mean, a lot of 3-3 games are close. Can Dukes if Benito shock people? I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm just gonna be keeping an eye on the Hornets. I want to see how they're gonna be able to bounce back.
I would be way more optimistic about Dukes for this tournament if they weren't in this group, because they were not nearly as bad as I think their record suggested. So they're 11-17 in games. They're 1-5 in series, yet they have a positive point differential. And like their underlying stats are pretty good. Like Ryan's having a decent year. Warnock's has been fine. They just keep losing. I don't know how to explain it other than they're just not winning games. They're just losing games. Like they'll lose 22-19 every single game. They'll lose like 21-18 like all the time, constantly.
It's the Gen G effect.
It is a Gen G effect. So we'll see if Dukes can break out of that, because I think that they could be like a sneaky steal open team if they're not constantly going up against the best teams in the league. On to Group 2. Cavs Legion, Gen G, Hawks, NBL, and Nets GC. This is probably the closest that we have to a true group of death. Group of death. I can't say the word group today. Five good teams. Sorry, excuse me. Let me take that back. 2 really good teams. 1 team that might be really good. And then 2 teams who are confused if they want to be good or not. That's probably better. Nets and Gen G look awesome. Hawks look pretty good. And NBL and Cavs have yet to decide if they want to join us at the table. I actually think this is a group that the Cavs can win if they just remember how to shoot the ball. I still believe in the Cavs. I still believe in Killy, Shift A, and DJ. I just need to see them actually hit shots. I think this might be... I'm worried we might see a slight fall off for the Nets just because they might be a little rattled. Maybe teams can see something on film. I don't know who comes in 5th place though in this group. Who do you think comes in last in this group?
Okay, I think if there was a team to come last, I don't know. I don't think this Hawks Magic is going to last with the inside.
Interesting.
Personally.
Okay.
I think that people are going to start to learn and adapt to it. I think it'll be the Hawks or NBL, the team that'll come in 5th place in this. My thing is, like, this could be the group of death. If we get the best of like on paper what we can expect from this team, this could be the hardest group to call.
Yeah, 100%.
But we can only go off of what we have seen over the past tournament. And for that, one, I don't think there's any group of death, honestly.
Sure.
I think everything's like a lot more balanced than it was where Group A was like the easy one. I feel like when we're looking at the Slam and all those teams, I think Jay Keefe, in his like he made like a little graphic. He was crossing out teams that were left. I think 3 came from Group A, and then there was just the Gen G that was down there.
Came,
yeah.
Group 1.
So I think if this can be the firework group, if we get Cavs, Legion, NBL playing at their top potential, but I think for the Hawks, I think it might be a little tough. I don't know if this how much you can rely on, MDS being double teamed, constantly trying to split defenders and just putting up shots and praying that maybe like 1 out of the 4 or 5 attempts that he takes from behind the arc in the game, that's like a 36%, 40%. This can be heavily contested. It's got to drop in. I just don't think that's like truly reliable. By the way, I do have to show some love to underrated GOAT. That man was fucking crushing it offensively, defensively, doing so much. But I want a popper out there. I mean, that's kind of the issue, right? You had Bait out there on a pop. You really weren't looking good. You go on the inside, you do have success. I don't think Glow can really go out there and make an impact on a pop either.
No.
But that's how I think this group is going to play out. I think personally, unless Greens can get his shooting figured out, because usually I feel like with Nets GC on the offensive side, when they started struggling, it was kind of like a collective, like Greens would shoot bad, Streets would shoot bad, Steeds would still be right there, like kind of at his average.
Yeah.
This was just all on Greens, like with really poor shooting.
He needs to like get his shot down, because like I kept saying in all of my articles and on the podcast, like, oh, I believe he'll come around eventually, but like we have hit eventually. Like either he figures out his shooting or they're in big trouble. I mean, where's Greens? Greens right now, 3-point percentage wise. Hold on. This might shock you. Greens 3-point percentage wise has the same 3-point percentage as Justin, Killy, and Malik. Now credit on guard. Actually, now looking at this, all of the top guards are having shooting issues. Greens, Ant, Malik, unguardable, Kai, all in the bottom 15 in the league in 3-point percentage.
And they also take the most. Not like.
And then there's just Gallo chilling with the power forwards at 68%. What a weird thing to look at.
But it's like, so my thing is too, like, even if you don't look at the percentages, it's the impact misses. There's some misses that you can look at in the game. You're like, oh, fuck, that hurts.
Yeah.
Green's had a lot of those. Ouch, I've fallen, I can't get up type misses in a game. To close out, to take a lead, to tie a game, to cut it back. Like, especially, we saw a lot. I think it was in the finals. Opening possession, teams will just keep getting open threes and smoking them.
Yeah.
Just giving the ball right back. So yeah, I think it's gonna have to be, group play Greens. What we've seen from him every single time. Always dominates. Need to see that, but looking forward in bracket play, things definitely have to change with them going forward. I think right now, if I had to pick a winner of this group, I think Gen G will take the group.
That's a good one. Just to put it to scale, Greens this year, 55 of 122 from 3. His closest comparison is Gallo, who's 83 of 123 from 3. So with one more attempt, he's hit almost 30 more threes. I mean, that's the difference between the Nets getting to Saturday and not getting to Saturday. That's a lot of threes. But again, it's Greens. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't think he's eventually going to figure it out. But
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If they want to get to that next level and start winning things like we talked about on broadcast and then got shouted at for, that's what needs to happen. Like, their team has to progress, has to go up a level together. And I think Streets and Stees did. Now it's Green's turn to ramp it up. All right, on to Group 3. Celtics, Knicks, Raptors, Sixers, and Wiz. It's kind of mid. It's kind of a mid group. It's pretty mid. I think this is the group for the Celtics. I want to see something out of the Celtics. I want the Celtics to absolutely drop them and go like 3-1 in this group. Or, maybe go 4-0. Like, they need a catalyst. I think the same thing for Knicks gaming too. Like, I think a ramp up is due for one of those two teams. I think the dark horse in this group, though, is the Wiz. Benzo looked really good in that first 5v5 game, and he looked better and better and better as the tournament went along. And I think they just kind of hit the point where his path of improvement kind of clashed with the talent of the teams that they were going up against, and eventually they just kind of ran out of gas. I would not discount a deep Wizards run in this tournament. I think they're starting to figure out this game mode more, and I still think Benzo has the potential to be as good as almost anybody in this league.
I honestly, I think it's either going to be the Celtics or the Knicks.
Yeah, they're the favorites for sure. The Wizards,
yeah. I mean, I really liked what I saw from Boston. Like, Lecce's at a different level. I've been loved watching him play. Just like the way, ability to move off ball, consistency again with shooting coming from him. Yeah, I mean, if there was that dark horse, yeah, I think if there was a chance, I mean, I'm not giving the Raptors or the Sixers like the craziest of chances unless there's some drastic changes coming from, Philly. I think the Raptors are building off like a decent foundation, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Like, Symptoms has been fine offensively, but the other two, you're seeing a product of when you don't draft guys for threes. Like, this is kind of what you get with, right? It's like, I have a more fives mindset. Though this is what you're stuck with. So, yeah, if there was a team, it'd probably be the Wiz, but I don't know. I have a feeling that we're going to see like some Knicks gaming domination coming out from this. I think that the way they went out was tough. Game 5s, lots of them coming out with some losses, some wins, I think, against the Grizz, and then falling to another Game 5 when they moved on to the next part of the bracket.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see like primetime Knicks coming out of this.
I could see it. I mean, they have really started ramping up, and it looks like Feast is starting to get a little more comfortable shooting the ball. It's been a while for him. Like, not even to throw hate at him. Like, he hasn't really been asked to consistently shoot the ball in a couple of seasons now. It's kind of wild. I like that Knicks gaming team, though. I think Malik's starting to come around. And do you want to talk about the Sixers at all? What is their best lineup? What is their best lineup?
I think I don't like the inside just because like that's not Dre. Like, it's just that's not the way like Dre should be orchestrating things and having to go to that. Like, he is a dribble heavy 3-point hunting guard. give him the space, get him somebody on the popper, whether it's DT, whether it's DJ. Me personally, if they do go with the inside, it's Dre, DJ, and DT. Again, like I was still stunned when DJ went to the bench, and like I think that he was doing things at the lockdown position that a lot of people weren't doing in that very first week of group play that we had. I definitely DT's proven shooter. Put DT on a pop, get DJ out there in the lockdown build, give him even more space, give Dre even more space, and rock with that the rest of the way. I feel like everyone needs to come to a realization like the big man season 1, the Pistons got away with it. It'll never happen again. There will not be an inside big that wins a tournament or wins a championship. This year guaranteed. Next year's who the fuck knows.
Who knows? All right. On to group 4. Cuatro. Do you know the number 4 in any other language besides Spanish? Un, don, tres, qua. There you go. Qua. It's French and 4 for
I was
French.
about to say, I was like, what are you doing?
Un, don, tres, qua. Is it qua? Quan? Something. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry for insulting the French language. Blazer 5 Gaming, Lakers Gaming, Mavs Gaming, Pacers Gaming, and T-Wolves Gaming. I think we need to open up. We need to open up this group by talking about what's going on with the T-Wolves. I don't. This is probably one of the first decisions that T-Wolves Gaming has made as an organization that I really vehemently disagree with. Like, it's been a long time since I've disagreed with something that they've done. Usually I just hate the fact that they kept losing, but I do not understand why you draft Iggy Mo 5th overall, give him like 3 group stage games, and then dump him completely. Like, that just, you don't, are you trying to kill his confidence? Like, did something happen? Like, I don't know. But here's what I do know. You should not be, his development should be the priority. Even if you're not nearly winning as many possible games as you can, his development as the 5th overall pick is more important than whatever any other narratives are going on inside of that locker room right now. Respectfully to Bear, I don't need him at power forward. He's playing point guard for me in 2 months. I need to get my rookie power forward comfortable on the league build. He's played 17 games on the league build, and now I'm going to have to punt him into 5s after benching him. His confidence is probably 0. Respect to Sub-Goated. I don't think they looked that much better with him out there. I think they, like, it didn't change anything. So I guess that my thought process is like, yeah, like he was 2 of 8 from 3 in like the 17 games that he played. He didn't really get that many chances, but it's such a weird thing to do. Why draft him 5 if you weren't gonna just stick with him through his struggles? That's not why. Like, what? That completely defeats the purpose. That would be like the Magic benching Jay Bullen after their first 2 series because they went 0-2. No, they drafted him 3rd overall. You keep playing the man so he figures it out. And guess what? Jay Bullen figured it out, and he was probably the best lock of the entire tournament. Like, I really, really disagree with this handling. I don't know if something happened behind the scenes. I don't know if there's turmoil in this locker room or the guys are disagreeing. Frankly, I don't care. His development means more to the future of this franchise than whatever the hell they were trying to do with this two-talk sub Bear lineup. It was very weak to me, and I'm not really sure what their strategy is here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I was a big proponent of like, okay, you looked good in the group play. Keep the same lineup. There's no point of making like that drastic of a change moving forward.
Like, what happened? He was fine, and then all of a sudden, like, we gave up. Bears at power forward. We give up.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it when Bear was at the lockdown. I liked Tutok, Emo, everything that they were doing. They were very fun to watch. Like, there was that excitement that built around it. As soon as they changed things up, it kind of lost that excitement in the games. Like there was really no star power that was backing it, kind of like how it was before. Remember, I was saying on the pod, the last episode that we did, or sorry, maybe 2 episodes ago now, I was like, I like the T-Wolves because of their confidence and their swagger. I didn't get that same feeling from the gameplay that I saw from them the last time out. So I want them to try to get back into those ways, and it has to be Iggy Mo in the lineup. There's no way that the guy as storied he is in the 3 versus 3 world, picked as high as he was, mostly for 3s. And he's not on the floor. It is weird. It is strange. Like
he was passing the ball well. Like, I thought he was taking, like, he's 29 of 38 from the field. Like, it's not like he was some atrocious offensive player. Like, they didn't give him a lot of shots. I'm baffled. I really am. And for me, it really kind of cuts how far I think they can go in this game mode, because I don't think Bear at power forward is winning you anything. Their best lineup is probably Iggy sub, or sorry, it's probably Tutok sub Iggy. We haven't seen that lineup once yet.
I wonder how much of it is it like a factor, like with kind of like how Dimes is, right? Like last year wanted to be in the lineup, didn't, and then more than likely this year was like, I want to play threes. I have to be out there in the threes lineup.
I could see
So
it. I mean, I don't hate playing Bear as much as possible. It's just, if that comes at the cost of the guy you picked fifth overall, why did you pick the guy fifth overall? I don't like
I
it.
think the one
Something
thing
stinks
that
here.
I don't know if we have a way to even like fully track it. Like how many threes has Bear attempted at the power forward position since he went over there? Because Iggy Mo through all the games that they played, he only attempted 8. And
Hey,
that's why his field goal 3% is so bad, the 2 for 8. But like 8 attempts, I feel like in the group play stage for a power forward, how many games the T-Wolves played, that's not very good. All right. You
Sub
got to
and
figure out
Bear
a
are
way to try to work
shooting
some
better
other.
from three. Sub is 11 of 15, and Bear is 10 of 14. So the 3-point shooting was definitely better. I guess I just, I don't know. I guess we're judging a guy off of 8 shots. I mean, Jason Aggs is 7 of 14. DJ Money is 9 of 28. I don't know. Like, I guess it's just, it's lost on me why they cut Bates so quickly. They didn't give him a single bracket play series, not one. They didn't give him a single series with legitimate stakes. They just cut bait immediately.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know. Because usually when weird, drastic stuff like this happens, it's, ooh, what's going on?
And guess what? We'll never know.
No, we'll never know. No, they keep
Uh,
it locked up in there.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I hope on, that they bring him back.
Anyway, moving off the T-Wolves, Pacers, Mavs, Lakers, Blazers. I think the Lakers are probably going to win this group. What happened to the Pacers, bro? The Pacers, do you know what it is? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you said this. You said that something like this might happen. You mentioned how Cooks, when he's at his best, looks like one of the best players in the league, but his problem has been consistency.
Yeah.
And I feel like this team kind of hit a wall almost during this tournament. And when they hit that wall hard, they crashed right into it. I still think they're a playoff team for me. I still think the Pacers are good enough to get to the playoffs, but they need a big switch, almost to prove to themselves that they have that kind of next level of consistency. Because they should have been there at the end. Let's be honest, they have the talent. They should have been one of the teams in the final 8 or the final 4. They should have been there, and they weren't. So it sticks out to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just like from my analysis and from what I've looked at from Cooks in threes, is that he'll get you like hot enough to where he can get deep into the tournament, but at some point there will come a shooting collapse. And when that shooting collapse comes around, they lose. I don't think there's ever been a time where they have gone like made a deep run, and once it gets into like that top 6, top 3 area, to where all of a sudden it's like, okay, Cooks just didn't make a single shot, or he made one shot and somehow like the Bucks came out on top of the victory. I don't know what causes that, because he was been like as fluid as you could possibly imagine for a guard. I feel like in the entirety of 3 versus 3, they do have the lineup to be able to get the job done. They're still a team like I'm on the fence about. I really don't know if I feel like this, looking at this team, especially in this group, I'm like, oh yeah, I think they can even guarantee to be like the second place team in this. Obviously, I think the Lakers are gonna storm through the group again, but yeah, they're a very interesting team. I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of Pacers gaming, if I'm being brutally honest, too,
Yeah,
on
I know, it's
broadcast.
weird.
So hard to break it down.
Them not making it to the last couple of days of the tournament was very strange. And losing to, I'm looking at last year's Switch Open bracket. I was like, wait, they lost to Cavs Legion? What? That doesn't sound right. Sorry, let me open up the actual correct bracket. Yeah, seeing them lose to that community team in Game 5 was really bad. And also, when they lost to Gen G 3-0, I was like, oh, Hey, wow, damn, Genji. Okay, you got it. And then also, oh boy, something's wrong here at the Pacers. I mean, they go 6-2, or sorry, 2-6 in their last 2 series of the tournament. Something's got to give. I wonder, do you take chess off of power forward? Do you try something else, or do you keep the lineup?
I mean, I do feel like that could be like the potential one weakness, like with the team.
I thought Rain was great last year.
Yeah, like a Rain is going to be like a guaranteed bucket unless he just can't shoot this year, which again, we don't have anything to go off of. But if it goes like any other year, he's always consistent. The one thing that always shocked me with this that like Range never really got reps in threes at all. Like I thought that maybe that could be a combination to where Jason, I feel like Jay Snaggs is so good at lockdown that you probably don't want to put him at power forward. But I feel like if you put Range at the 4, maybe try that out, or even put Jay Snaggs at the 4, like what the difference could potentially be. But if there was a change, it's gonna be chess for Rain more than likely. What actually happened, I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like they're kind of committed to just this 3.
Yeah. One other thing on the T-Wolves that actually just came to me that I want to say before we go into our last group. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, all right, what if it's the other way around? We've trusted the T-Wolves for a long time for their talent observations. What if they're right here? What if Iggy Mo isn't actually that good?
That'd be depressing.
Yeah. That's really the other. I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, wait, they don't really do drastic stuff like this. I don't know. We need another tournament. And do you know what? You want to know the only way we're going to know if he's good or bad?
If he plays this
week.
If
he plays the damn game. All right, on to Group 5. Bucks Gaming, Grizz Gaming, Jazz Gaming, Kingsguard, and Warriors Gaming Squad. The Bucks have been the god of 2K has descended down from the heavens, and he has graced Bucks Gaming and said, here is the easiest group you can possibly have. Either be good or get gone.
Marcus Glenn did that?
Funny, you got it too. That's funny.
But
yeah. Bucks Gaming get given a group that, in my opinion, they should dominate. They if there is a group that they were going to beat up on, it's probably this one. Jazzer. Oh boy, they're in the quadrant of woe in my power rankings now, Dirk. The Kings are the basement, and then the Grizz and Warriors are good, mid, good.
Grizz are good.
Grizz
are good.
Warriors are not sure.
Meh.
Warriors are kind of.
No, I think they're going to look a lot better with Kenny being out there and like going that lineup. I think that this could be a lot better tournament for them. But yeah, right now I have the Warriors. It's just kind of meh.
I wonder what lineup we get to see from Bucks Gaming. I wonder if it's going to be the same one with Retro. I wonder now that they've had a chance, is it going to be Johnny back at the 4? I don't know.
That's going to be my question to them, because if the Bucks go out there with the John Red 6 and Retro lineup, I think the Grizz will go. Well, I think they'll top this group.
I agree.
I think if Dimes is back, I think the Bucks
will
end up
not be
taking
back.
it.
He said in my chat he's with the kid.
I don't think they'll make the change of putting CP in. I don't really see the true benefit of putting him in and putting Johnny at the 4.
Can I give you the benefit now? Because I was thinking about this on my plane ride home, and I've decided that if the Bucks don't move Johnny to the 4, their 3v3 season is over. Here's why. What made the 4 teams that we had in our Final 4 different was the fact that all of them had power forwards who could shoot from anywhere on the court. Even Crazy, when he was struggling to shoot the ball, was still shooting from everywhere. Top of the key, wings, corners, everywhere. Connor did it. Loki Godlike did it. Jolo did it. They all did it. My problem with the Bucks is that I'm not sure if Retro has that anywhere near his bag. I don't know if he has that. I don't know if he has the ability to shoot that way. I don't know if he even knows where to be on the court to shoot that way. I don't know. He's very new, and we don't know a lot about him in 3v3. Here's what I do know. I do know that Johnny, the power forward, is he's going to play it like a shooting guard. He knows where those open spots in the defense are, and he can knock down shots from those kind of advanced power forward spots. I would almost take the swing on it just because it feels like that's the skill gap this year. That's the difference between the good teams and the bad teams. What can your power forward do offensively to give yourself another dimension to score? And I don't know if they have that with Retro in the lineup. I feel like their only way to get that dimension is to put Johnny at the 4 and to bring CP in to run the offense.
I think it's harder for CP to come in now and have to be like, hey, fucking learn how to play 3v3 at a competition level
That's a
than
fair
throwing
point.
a power forward out there and being like, you know your role, go with it and kind of flow. Like that drastically, because here's the thing, right? I mean, I would be open to them trying this, like
Yeah, oh, that's
trying the
what I'm saying.
CP and
Like you're this
but
is
like if
this is
you
an
give
easy
me
group stage. You have to try it.
if you give me a series or like even a 2 games and like it just looks bad, immediately pull the plug on it. Be, okay, Johnny Red Daw 6 Retro the rest of the way because even in the early games that we've seen from Retro, the shooting has been good. He's only on 9 attempts, so he's 6 for 9 from 3.
Yep.
Other 9 attempts have actually come from just in the field there too, like just 2-point shots. I think that you allow Johnny Red to keep cooking, doing his thing at the guard position because I think that Johnny Red, I feel like could have that shifty Kai type potential in this mode
Yep.
where if like allowing him to even get comfortable with it. I just think it would be a massive change. I'm a huge fan of just having Retro out there. And then I guess it kind of depends which way do you want to go about it. Do you want to come out of the start of the week? Okay, we got CP, we got Johnny Red at the 4. Boom, like let's hit the ground running with this new lineup. Then it goes bad, and you're like, okay, well now let's flip it back to Johnny Red, Dawsix, and Retro. Then if it starts failing, then you're just kind of like, fuck Dimes. Can you
But then
play
at
at
that
home?
point,
Can you play remote?
at that point, honestly, you just know that you're bad, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the situation they're in. It's like either they figure out the lineup that works and they're good, or they don't figure it out and they're just bad. I mean, their first day on Wednesday, they have the Jazz at 6:00, and then they play the Warriors later at 7:30. So like, 2 good tests. If you can beat the Jazz, all right, great. You know that at least has a chance to beat the bottom pack teams. If it beats the Warriors, hey, at least you know that it competes against the teams in the middle. And then the next day they play the Grizz, and if you beat the Grizz, hey, now you know that it can beat an actual good team. So it might not be the worst scale up in the world.
Yeah, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because like going in to not having Dimes wasn't here just for the bracket part, right? That's when
Yeah, he was
Retro
only here
came
for
in.
group stage.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because like I mean making a change like that, which obviously you knew the change was probably coming on the horizon somewhere. So I do think that you have repetitions. But like even when you look at the teams that they lost to, you look at the Hawks and how good that they actually were going through the entire tournament. Like, okay, like I don't want to say the 3-0 is justified with the caliber of that Bucks team. Like they definitely should have taken away a game, especially with the inside out there. Got a little bit of alarming when you're talking about the Hornets losing their first matchup, and then you're the team that they finally ended up snagging a win against in the bracket play. And again, you got eliminated early. You got double first rounded, which in esports is like the worst thing that you want to do as a championship caliber type club.
Yeah.
But I have some faith in them. I think that the first series that we see from them, regardless of the lineup, is going to tell a lot about how things are going to go the rest of the 3v3 season with Bucks Gaming.
I think the Bucks to me are still the dark horse at 3v3. As whenever you got Johnny and Dawsix on the same team, and if they can find that third guy, I still think there's a deep run in this game mode for them. So if you're wondering why we're paying so much attention to them, it's that. But again, Johnny Red is really the only player in the league shooting guard wise that has come close to Kai in the past 3 years. And you can make an argument that last year he started to get real close to passing him. So, you know, we'll see. Playing the lead 3v3 guard, Dirk, is very different from playing 5v5 shooting guard.
Yeah.
And I wonder, you know, if we're just truly seeing the greatness in Kai, is that he can literally do anything you need him to do in any game mode ever. Okay. We can start closing it out from there. Any final notes on the week? We got the community team broadcast coming up tonight. That'll be fun. You're on first, and I'm after you.
I'm excited. We didn't touch upon them too much in Group 4, or would that be A, B, C, D? Yeah, Group D. I forgot. For some reason, I was like looking at the numbers, like, wait, do we always go off numbered groups? I'm interested what the Mavs are gonna come out with. I don't know if they're gonna like maybe they give Fanta another chance because Cap is always so interesting with like his style with 2K gameplay. I feel like he's always the guy that comes in when you least expect it. Like they'll just throw him in, he'll go off, he'll cook. Then he'll get to like another series, and you're like, damn, what the fuck? Like, what happened? And the Mavs were showing that they're like got over the hump of, oh wow, like we can actually close out games, which Fanta was getting you into the position to win games. You just weren't able to close it out. So I would like to see Fanta back in the lineup there for the Mavs. Now, I will say this, Harris. If this goes bad for Fanta with this run in this tournament, done for.
Yeah, it's done.
Kiss the 2KO goodbye.
Yeah, he might be playing for the ad wave at this point. Not even disrespectfully, it's just this team has extremely high expectations.
You're again kind of this is like the same thing in Iggy, like as Iggy Mo, but there's promise for Iggy Mo in 5 versus 5. I feel like more than Fanta has at his specific position. So yeah, I think it is. It's like it's brutal to say, but it's safe to say it is playing for ad wave at this point. You're in the best situation possible. Mavs look good there with Cap, but like you're a better scorer than Cap. Like that's how it should be. You are reputation wise, like you are better scorer than Cap. You should be able to. So I mean, even like when they benched him, like when you look at the Mavs, the game fives, like getting reverse swept, there's just the closeouts. There was even games like they were like 19-12 and they just couldn't get the final basket to where it's like Dave I was like, just give me the fucking ball. I will do it. Finally ended up working. So would like to see Fanta back out there with the Mavs. They want a chance of taking this group.
Well, I'm excited to see the Mavs as well. I'm excied to see what Dave Fry has for us again. I feel like we kind of forgot about him in the middle of that tournament, but knowing him, he'll be back in the forefront soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll close it out there. It's been another episode of Virtual Courtside with Dirk and Harris. You can follow us on Twitter at Dirk_JDR. And you can follow me at SportsTeam. Be sure to go give love to Dirk's soccer content. Congrats to him. 6-2 playoff victory.
7-2 actually.
7-2,
I went through the recording. Well, somebody said the prediction was 6-2, and I'm like, oh, you got it right. Then someone messaged like it's 7-2. I'm like, let me check. So I went through and looked at all the goals. They didn't count that. They didn't put it on the scoreboard. They counted it, but they didn't put it up on the scoreboard. So that's why I thought it was 6-2. So,
all right. When's your next game?
This Sunday we're taking on a team that we played. I want to say it was like week 8 or week 7 in the indoor league. We lost 7-5. Ooh. So we are the two highest seeds left. Okay. The number 1 seed and number 4 seed end up losing their games in their first round.
2 versus 3.
I think
pull David Raya on it.
I think whoever wins our matchup will end up winning the whole thing. I think there's that large of a difference. So I'm excited. Finger was hurting really bad. I made my first save and I legit, Harris, started like grabbing my jersey and biting into it because it was hurting so bad to where like the ref was like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I had to go to my halftime. Like I'm playing through an injury. So like, don't stop the game. If you see me like holding on.
That finger is going to be dilapidated for the rest of your life.
I said to him, I was like, if you were going to stop the game, it's like, I will fall to the ground to let you know to stop the game. If I'm just holding my hand, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine.
I thought you were going to say finger crossed because your finger's injured. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Adios.